Hello again, I'm Jenny and this is the second in my series of videos about the newest Casio model for GCSE and IGCSE. So let's have a look. This time we're going to look at a nice little trick that helps you quickly work out the coordinates in a linear or a quadratic or even a cubic graph. Not that I've ever seen a cubic graph asked to be plotted in a GCSE exam, but you never know. There's no reason why it couldn't turn up. And this is a really lovely little aspect of this calculator. But the problem is you've got to know where to look to get started and then how to actually continue. So I'm going to show you that today. I'm going to put captions on while we're doing it so that you can see it nice and clearly, and therefore should be nice and easy. Okay, one sec. And we're back to the Casio FX83 GT-CW, the class whiz. Right, so the first thing you need to do, you want to plot your coordinates, you want to work out your coordinates for a linear graph. We'll start with a linear graph and then I'll show you for a quadratic graph as well. And this is a lovely, lovely thing. Now, I have to say, little caveat, linear graphs generally turn up on the non-calc, but I'm going to use it as an example so you can see how it works. And then you can double check my answer at the end if you would like, because it's easier to do that with a linear one. With a quadratic graph, generally don't get asked to plot those on the non-calc. Occasionally it does turn up, but not very often. You normally are asked to plot them on the calculator paper, and this method is just wonderful for that. So here we go. First of all, you have this button up here, it says home. Press it, you get some little options. So you've got your normal calculate, you've got statistics, and then you've got table. If we go into table, you will see you get a blank table. Okay, if I zoom in on that, or sort of just make the camera go a bit closer, you see down the side you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, you've got X, and then you've got FX. Now the calculator is using FX as its version of Y. Okay, so F is a function, that's what it stands for, but they're telling you that's Y in calculator speak. Okay, for those of you who aren't that interested in any more than the basics. Okay, so then you press Tools. Now this is this 3 dots on this button here, and you get these options. So this is another menu that changes depending on where you're in. So sometimes it just literally come up and only say undo. But if you're in the table function, then you can get these tools. The first one is table range. Now this is going to depend on what your X values are. So if you've got X values, say -3 execute to 5, you have to type into this. You cannot just press execute and continue. Steps, that's what the difference between each number is. So if your number's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, your step is 1. If it's going 2, 4, 6, 8, your step is 2. So I'm just going to do it in steps of 1. And then you get an execute. I don't really understand that bit. And now you've got your X coordinates in there for you. Now you can go down using the arrow keys. So if you just look, see that? Arrow keys, and that's taking me all the way down to the value of 5. Okay, I'm going to go back up. Whoops. Apparently I can just do that. Didn't know that. Okay, now go back into tools, and I need to go to the next one down, which is define FXGX. Okay, so if I go into define FX, it doesn't actually matter which one you use particularly, but I always go with FX. And then I'm going to type in an equation. This is just going to be a linear equation, so I'm going to go 2x plus 3. Okay, and execute. And now, if you can see that, I have my, so from -3 for X, I've got my Y coordinates going all the way up. And if we just choose that one, so value of X is 1, 2 times 1 is 2, add 3 is 5. So you can just do a very quick double check, make sure you put it in correctly. Okay, and it works also for quadratic. So let me show you for quadratic. Right then, so I have a bit of an experiment. It went a little bit wrong, so I had a little bit of an experiment, and I am going to change my table range. So I'm going to go in there and I'm going to make it -5, execute, 5, execute, and then I'm still going up in steps of 1, and then execute again. Lots of executing. And then we've got our X coordinates there. As you can see, nothing new about that now. You're used to that. Go back into tools and let's define that FX. Okay, so this is our y value. So this is going to be x squared plus 6x plus 5. Okay, let's see what we get. There it is. Okay, so if you have a look, we've got minus 5 is 0. And then it goes 3, minus 4, minus 3. This is the y coordinates. Then 0 again. So you see they've got that little pattern there. And then it goes into bigger numbers. So you get this a lot with quadratic graphs. They have a pattern and then the pattern seems to disappear. But actually, if we made the table values lower, so let's say we took it down to, let's just go in and do this just to demonstrate how this actually works. So let's make that minus 8. And I think I'm just going to take this, I'm going to take this to 3 so that we don't have a huge amount. And then that one, oh, I forgot, I'm going to put that in. That's really annoying. There you go. So then we've got minus 8 is 21, minus 7 is 12, minus 6 is 5, minus 5 is 0, and then you can see minus 3, minus 4, we're looking at the fx thing, and then it goes minus 3 again, then 0, then 5, and 12, and 21. So you can see the pattern because the quadratic is supposed to be symmetrical. So that's brilliant. So that is how you use the table function. To get out of it, always important, go back to the home key and just go across, choose calculate. There you are, back to your normal screen. Okay, so I will see you again soon with another video about this calculator. More calculator hacks coming your way. See ya, bye.